News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini. India and Pakistan have agreed to an immediate ceasefire mediated by the United States, according to President Trump. Trump posting on Truth Social that after a long night of talks, quote, mediated by the United States, I am pleased to announce that India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire, end quote. This follows missile and drone attacks across the border in the most serious confrontation between the nuclear-armed rivals in decades. It took place in the latest day, especially involving attacks on military bases. High-stakes talks between the U.S. and China in Switzerland today to de-escalate the trade war. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and China's Vice Premier leading those negotiations. President Trump says it is possible the two sides could reach a deal to cut tariffs.
I want China to do great. I'm very friendly with President Xi. I have great respect for him and for China.
President Trump also floating cutting tariffs on China to 80% from current much higher levels. Separately, the Trump administration looking at whether imported aircraft, jet engines, and parts pose a national security threat that could lead to new tariffs on the commercial aerospace industry. Mixed close for U.S. stocks yesterday as investors eyed the tariff situation, and multiple Fed policymakers made public remarks, but not one made it sound like the Fed was anywhere near lowering interest rates. Reports out today show tariffs taking a toll on China's economy. Consumer prices there continuing to fall. Factory prices dropped. Separately, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warning on the debt ceiling, saying if action isn't taken by lawmakers to raise the debt ceiling, the U.S. could go into default by August. Bessent urging Congress to increase or suspend the debt limit by mid-July. Officials from Europe throwing support behind a special tribunal that could prosecute Russian President Vladimir Putin for the crimes of aggression against Ukraine. Foreign ministers from almost 20 European nations gathering, signing off on a tribunal. The tribunal could start operating next year. British Foreign Secretary David Lammy.
We are here sending a powerful message to Putin and his cronies and those that stand with him that freedom will prevail, that we continue to support Ukraine with all the military, economic and humanitarian support.
British Foreign Secretary David Lammy. Meantime, sources say European officials are in talks with the Trump administration to finalize an agreement on a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine. That could impose new sanctions on Russia if President Vladimir Putin doesn't budge, according to sources. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, not only a great day for the moms in your life, but also apparently a good day for the economy. Bloomberg's Tom Busby has more.
Well, the National Retail Federation says that Americans will spend just over $34 billion this Mother's Day. That's a little bit more than last year and a sign of healthy consumer spending despite worries about the U.S. economy. Most of that money is being spent on flowers, greeting cards, and special outings for mom, like a brunch or dinner. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Thank you, Tom. There's a whole new trend brewing in the pet world, reptiles. Researcher Fredonia Group says some 4 million U.S. households now own reptiles and amphibians, and the market for their food and supplies hit about $800 million last year. That's up 60% from 2019. And pics of people snuggling with their reptiles on social media helping businesses scale revenue. And in golf, Truist Championship underway. Keith Mitchell at the top of the leaderboard, followed by Shane Lowry and then Sepp Straka. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini, and this is Bloomberg.